Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about new Copilot Studio Experience which is newly launched versus the classic Copilot Studio Experience. We'll discuss each experience in terms of the user interface, in terms of functionality, in terms of runtime, and in terms of billing. Let's compare first from perspective of user interface, then we compare in terms of agents and workflows. Hi, my name is Neeraj Sharma and now we're going to start our demo session. This is our new Copilot Studio Experience and this is our old and classic Copilot Studio Experience. In classic experience you can see we have option here try now. Then you will see new experience here. In classic experience we can make agents and flows both. Similarly in new experience we can also make agents and workflows. So how these two are different from each other? Please refer GitHub Copilot along with agents and GitHub Copilot along with workflows. Please notice that new experience in Copilot Studio uses GitHub Copilot Harness, while old UI uses the standard harness. What is this GitHub Copilot Harness? Let's talk about this concept first. So we'll talk here about GitHub Copilot Harness and standard harness in the Copilot Studio. So what is GitHub Copilot Harness? It is a redesigned authoring and runtime environment for building agents with improved response quality and reasoning capability. So harness is runtime that coordinate the agent, AI model, instructions, tools and responses to deliver the final outcome or answer. And new Copilot Studio Experience use GitHub Copilot Harness. When we talk about GitHub Copilot Harness, it is also important to talk about Copilot credits. So it's kind of currency that agent uses for its execution. Please notice that new Copilot Studio Experience which use GitHub Copilot Harness charge credit for using, building, testing, evaluation of the agents. And of course, after publishing, it also charge you Copilot credits. Whereas the classic UI, the classic Copilot Studio use standard harness where billing start only after publishing. I mean, in case of classic Copilot Studio Experience for designing, building, testing, evaluation, it do not consume Copilot credits. It only consume credits after publishing the agents. Whereas in the new Copilot Studio UI which is using GitHub Copilot, it use credit for everything, for building, testing, evaluating and after publishing as well. This is a very important difference. Please make a note of this. So what consume credits? All the LM tokens, tools and harness itself use credits. So any experience that use one of these consume credits. The number of credits an agent you consume depend on design of agent. So design should be good for your agent, which can be cost effective for you, and how often customer interact with and feature they use it. So design matter a lot when you care about consuming Copilot credits. So as I mentioned, in classic UI of Copilot Studio we use standard harness. In new UI we use GitHub Copilot Harness. So when to use GitHub Copilot Harness? When your agent need to reason through longer tasks, work across several tools, handle files and automate a real business process end to end for complex scenarios. And please notice that in new Copilot Studio Experience there is no topics. Instead we have skills. The standard harness is useful when scenario is well defined and rule based and you want consistent and predictable answers. So in standard harness we have topics to write the logic, whereas in GitHub Copilot Harness you don't have any topics, we have skills for this. We'll talk about this more in detail when we make agents and workflows. For your information, Microsoft Cowork also use the same harness for execution of the work. So we can see that we have agents and we have workflows. So actually how these two are different from each other? On face of it, we can say that workflow is kind of the automation workflow that we make in Power Automate, and agents is a piece of software to take actions and answer questions. Before going further into creation of agents and creation of workflows, Let's have a look on the difference at the macro level. So agents are conversational driven and best suited for a process that require understanding, reasoning, and interaction with the users. Whereas workflows, on the other hand, are deterministic and used to automate defined and repeatable process. Please notice the word deterministic for the workflows and conversational driven for the agents. We can also compare agents and the workflows in this manner, like agent think and decide, workflow execute. Agents are conversational, workflows are process driven. Agents are adaptive, workflows are predictable. Agents are best for complex tasks and workflows are best for repetitive tasks. Let's jump to screen now. I hope now it's clear to you when to use agent and when to use workflow. This was the basics that we cover, and we cover in depth about agents and workflows in further demo sessions. Please notice that the option over here, other ways to build. If you click on this one, you will see agent standard and agent flows. It means when you create agent from here or agent flows from here, it will take you to classic Copilot Studio, which is based on the standard harness. Let's go back to new UI. Please notice that this warning, introducing credit powered capabilities. GitHub Copilot Power Agents created before August 3rd, and all developer and trial environment will transition to credit pricing on September 1st. It means from September 1, whether you create, test, evaluate, or publish agents using or workflow using new UI, all will be charged as per the Copilot credits. We'll talk more about this in licensing video. When you're not sure whether you make agent or workflow and you have a business statement, you can use this prompt box. For example, please create either agent or workflow order automation of my business. It's quite small prompt and easy prompt. You can give more complex prompt. So what will happen? GitHub Copilot Harness will decide for this statement it has to create an agent or workflow or both. Let's see how it works. We will try to ask some questions to us. You can also see what's happening behind the scenes based on our prompt. You can see the reasoning. So based on prompt, it will ask us few questions. When should be order automation run? Continue. Maybe in SharePoint list, maybe into CRM. So based on the prompt that given by us, based on the question that we answered, it will create either agent or workflow or both. But at present it's not able to create because we do not have credit in the environment for this. So we need to put credits into our environment so it can build agents for us. Let's go back to agents that we have already built. You can see that on agent screen we have powered by a standard, means it is developed by our classic studio, and GitHub Copilot, it is developed by us in the latest UI. Please notice one important thing over here. In classic, if you go to agents, for orchestration we have two settings. Use generative AI orchestration, yes and no. It means if I say yes, agents will use generative AI orchestration. If I use no, it will be classic orchestration and everything will be handled by your topics. Whereas if I go to new Copilot Studio Experience, in settings, there is no setting like this to disable, enable generative orchestration. Because new Copilot Studio UI use powerful GitHub Copilot Harness, so everything is based on generative AI orchestration. You can notice that there is no topics here, and we have few new things like skills and memory. We'll talk more about how to create agents step by step, what are these different options in another video. Please also note one point, agents that you create with GitHub Copilot Harness cannot be transferred to standard harness and vice versa. See you in next video of the agent creation. Thank you.